Hello. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. It's your podcasting compatriot, Tiki, here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And Jacob Wile, too.
And together, we are... A Big Podcast 3! Come and get your love, do. Come and get your love. All right. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing fine.
Doing good?
All right, well, tonight we are talking about Season 2, Episodes 6 through 10 of Big Hero 6, the series. For all the episode names, just look in the description. I'm not going to bore you rattling them all off. But first, oh my god, Dragon, I saw something online so awesome that I kind of have to get your reaction to it, all right?
Okay.
It's something that combines two of your favorite things, Captain America and Toy Story. You like those two things, right, Dragon?
Yes, Tiki, I like those two things.
All right, well, Dragon, I came across a little thing today. Let me just...
I'm completely detracting from what we're talking about.
I genuinely just want to get your reaction to this, Dragon. I'm sorry. I
But did you have to do it live on air, though?
Yeah,
that's my real
question. It needs to be filmed for all the world to see.
Okay, you know how much I love that Mrs. Nesbitt gag. That's
yeah, I know how much people.
You see the head? I am Mrs. Nesbitt.
Oh god, I just love how into it Bucky looks in the illustration.
Oh god. Of course, the tattoo on makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Yep.
All right. I mean, it's we're getting closer to Toy Story 4, and Big Hero 6 is kind of like tertiary Marvel, so it kind of fits a little. Not really. Anyway,
it makes you feel better too.
So how do you guys enjoy the special episodes as I switch back to the actual image? Which, by the way, Jacob, I don't think I give you enough credit for these, man. These between Disney debates and this, and probably honestly a couple other things that you do that I'm forgetting right now, these images are pretty professional quality, man, if I do say so myself. I love the text on them.
Well, I mean, think a bunch of Google searches for finding some of these fonts for the fonts, and the pictures I just pulled from the wikis.
Very fonty, very fonty.
I try and go for authenticity.
Yes.
Well, I really like that you got the adorable picture with Go-Go and Honey Lemon. That's a nice touch.
Well, like I said, these are pretty much pulled from the Big Hero 6 wiki. So if you thank them for grabbing, thank them also for getting the screen grabs.
Well, I love the bottom one most.
All right, so how are we feeling about this bunch of episodes, guys?
I must say, like, despite some hiccups here and there, this season's definitely on the upswing.
Yeah, I got some hiccups on this one too. Yeah, here's the thing. On the whole, I think I think they're in the right direction. So there's nothing wrong with the episodes. It's just some of them. I think there's one episode in particular I think has a big missed opportunity, and beyond that, I mean, basically, I think the season's doing really good overall. Again, we're not wasting anything we got in season 1, and we're taking those ideas and we're either sequelizing them in a good way, or we're picking up where they left off, or in some cases improving some episodes we were just kind of thrown at the wall in the first season. So nothing's wasted, and we're kind of repurposing it in a better way. There's a plot hole in an episode that it's kind of glaring for me, and basically there are a few things here and there. Again, nothing substantial, but it's becoming a little recurrent that has me a little worried. So basically, overall, we're on the right path. We're on the path that we were kind of talking about the last grouping. There towards the tail end, things are really picking up in a big way.
No, I don't remember because I was asleep. Calling myself out on that one.
Right.
So both end of a long work day on that one. It won't happen again, hopefully.
Okay, well, the point being, the end. Point being, the end, the last, grouping, they got really better towards kind of like episode like 3 onward. Mainly 4 and 5 are really good. Last grouping, I think they've kind of been that.
You meant like what we were discussing on the podcast. Yeah, just generally speaking, episodes 4 and 5 were pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, my bad. I'm overcomplicating things here.
Anyway, the point being, so I think we're on the right path. I still hold out hope that we're going to just kind of like tighten the plot to that Obake level that we had in the first season, because I think it's so close to that point. I think we're really close to being like, because again, Big Hero 6 is still kind of in the evolutionary phase, and I think we were all hoping it was going to be like a little further down the pipe by the start of the season, and they're kind of we're on. Let's say optimistic. I'll say 80. We're kind of 80% of the way there, but realistically, maybe 75%. The point is, we're making headway. So the second half was still an improvement, I guess.
Still passing grade.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I honestly, these episodes to me were a bit of a roller coaster. Just going through each of them, kind of like giving my one sentence reactions to them. Episode 6, I liked a lot. It was pretty heartfelt. We got some good Heathcliffe stuff in that one. Honestly, episode 7, I don't know if this is the wasted opportunity Dragon was talking about, but honestly, episode 7, besides some of the cray stuff, I thought was just probably the weakest one out of the bunch. Episode 8, I love. We'll get to episode 8. That's probably my favorite of the season so far. I adore episode 8. Episode 9 was it was pretty cool from a Stan Lee point of view, but honestly, other than the Stan Lee stuff and Jane Lynch playing a pretty fun villain, I felt like episode 9 felt a little bit like a filler episode. And episode 10 kind of felt, episode 10 really underwhelmed me, honestly. Like it was an interesting kind of plot episode, but by the same token, I felt the actual constructs of the plot within the episode, just the lie detector stuff, just got very boring very quickly for me. So generally speaking, episodes 7 and episodes 10 were the ones that were kind of misses for me. Episode 9 I like, episode 6 I like, but episode 8 I feel like is by far the best one of the bunch. Like, it really kind of overshadows everything in my mind. I love episode 8. All right, so let's go through them episode by episode, starting with something about the roommates.
The fate of the roommates. All right, the fate of the roommates.
Titles, guys. I'm sorry.
I
have Wiki like right in front of me. It's like
Learn
right
to
on
read.
my phone. I'm so unprofessional. Something
Anyway.
about the roommate.
Okay, so I really like this episode. This one was kind of teasing up when we were really stretched for time last time. I started watching Fate of the Roommates, and I was really impressed by it. It really was. This one was a lot of fun. Again, a lot of tons of really cool Heathcliff stuff. It was kind of I had a little skosh of Stanley in there for good measure. They had a lot of stuff going on for it.
Nice development with Go-Go and Honey Lemon again.
Yeah, and again, this is what I'm talking about. It's kind of a better sequel than we had. Again, we put in the play in the first season. That episode was kind of so-so, and now I think we did a lot better here.
Phase 2.
Yeah, phase 2. We phase 2'd it, man. We Winter Soldier this puppy.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed this one. I'm not sure I'm quite on as high of a trajectory as you are, Dragon. Heathcliff was definitely my favorite part. And I'm going to geek out about something, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Jacob, I don't know if you rode Back to the Future the ride. Dragon, did you ride Back to the Future the ride?
Did I?
All right.
Yes.
All right. So the simulator racing thing with the drones, the drone cars, and that's totally Back to the Future the ride for me, where they get into the cars and then the cars kind of lift up into a screen. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I was kind of geeking out over that a little bit. I doubt it's intentional, but just generally speaking, I love that technology. I love the idea of the drone races, and Heathcliff just kind of rocks it. That, like I said, that to me is probably like by far my favorite part of the episode overall. Honestly, the honey lemon and go-go stuff is good. I love the go-go stuff. I love the go-go stuff.
This is the closest we get to a go-go episode, by the way.
Oh, this is. I think it's fair to say this is a go-go episode.
Definitely.
I tell you what, I don't. There, I guess it's a nitpick. It's more of a nitpick because there's more problematic stuff in other episodes for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But Honey Lemon was kind of a little bit hit or miss here. She has some really funny bits, like the surprise portrait.
It was funny.
But on the other hand, she is a little bit grating in some areas in this episode.
I disagree with that. Personally.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I found her like more endearing.
Yeah.
And then
it's just one or two moments for me. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just kind of nitpicking here.
But I did have. While this is a go-go episode, I'm sorry, Jacob, go on.
No, I was just gonna say, it's like I like how they put it. Like, okay, can we go back to the surprise portrait thing?
yeah, that was.
Like they point out the kind of it's like, okay, even they put out, okay, that might be crossing the line a bit.
But it's just so hilariously methodical.
We also get the actual self-portrait is what is it? It's like Go-Go like in a fine suit or something.
Yeah, I think she's brushing her teeth though while she's in a fine suit.
Yes.
What you were saying, Dragon? Sorry.
Is what I was getting at is that while this is a go-go episode, and again, this is basically go-go is one of the not so much here, more so in a later episode. We have missed opportunities with go-go, and there was a slight one here that I think it's worse in when we do in another episode, but it's done a little bit here, where we have again the go-go story is great. Like Baymax is kind of being their reminder, like why don't you talk to Honey Lemon? Why don't you just basically share your feelings? Which is kind of a great runner where Baymax and go-go have kind of like Baymax is kind of hitting with the truth, just really kind of non-aggressively, which is great. But the missed opportunity for me is that, again, we have like a driving episode, and Go-Go barely has any correlation in it.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's
and again, it's like the episode's good though. It's it's like really, and like
it's interesting because we do explore Go-Go a lot. We get more depth on her than we usually get, but. Yeah, it makes kind of like the one thing that she's really known for, not really correlating.
That said, though,
I didn't think about her.
And we do get to see, at least we get to see her in that new bike of hers.
We do, and that's the thing. It's really sweet looking, man. But you imagine that would be kind of like the front runner. Like, yeah, we probably might lead with that. But however, Heathcliff though, again, I wouldn't trade Heathcliff for the world. Heathcliff's driving skills are awesome, and of course, I do.
I love how seriously he takes everything.
How he kind of swerves that limo, he can move it, man. He's like, apparently Heathcliff is secretly Baby Driver. It's essentially.
For once I actually recognize a reference you guys are talking about. Because I actually did see that movie, and I do agree it kind of does remind me of Baby Driver.
A little bit.
Butler Driver. Anyway.
And I'm actually...
The bottoms.
At least they're making Mr. Sparkles more interesting, though.
Yeah, I really liked how so here's the thing, I love the long game we're playing with Mr. Sparkles here. Again, this is why I really love the episode, because we do a Mr. Sparkles plot that feels very akin to Mr. Sparkles. Okay, he has a gimmick, he has kind of a show going on here, has a ridiculous prize like these cashmere driving gloves, which that's my one regret is we don't Heathcliff didn't get the driving gloves. There's no real payoff to the driving gloves. It's just I don't know, it doesn't really matter. The point.
He even put a fast one on Yama.
Exactly, and I guess I love how Sparkles just kind of is just still being his talk show host, but being the game show host, still being a game show host wonderfully, and of course Patton Oswalt in the fray. I always love when Patton Oswalt's involved in things, and more so I loved how we kind of end things where we reveal that again, kind of like Obake to an extent. We have Liv Amara kind of in the background here, where essentially Sparkles is getting funding, with is basically he's kind of starting to fund Liv Amara's actions with the heist that he just made. That's why he was kind of stealing the money so he can get like an upgrade like everybody else these days. So that was I like how we're lumping those two plots together and where it goes with the Sparkles. Sparkles is kind of tied into Liv Amara's grand plans. All that I thought was that was really great retroactively in the plot. But beyond that, though, again, straightforward. It's a good standalone episode with kind of a little kind of like connecting dots by the end. So that's really cool.
I mean, here's what I'm liking about Amara as like a season-long villain. Is that Obake was awesome, but at the end of the day, he kind of had this like Tom Riddle Voldemort thing going on where he was obviously evil, and that made him all the more fun, of course. But when he was in public, like that one time that he visited the cafe and stuff like that, it's he kind of stood out in a crowd. You know what I mean? It's like it's not that he didn't have people fooled, but he did kind of bring this sort of like menace to it. What I love about Amara is that Amara is totally taking the opposite route, where she's just like this beloved public figure, and I think that makes her all the more threatening. The fact that she's like kind of got the public on her side in a big way. It's kind of like a more successful version of Mysterio, almost.
She's kind of like a different version of Lex Luthor, almost.
In a way.
A little bit of Luthor, a little bit of Kingpin in there too. There's definitely some...
If you had to compare like Obake, who would he be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Well, no, Obake. I keep saying Obake was like Ra's al Ghul when I was using the.
Yeah. That's a good pool.
Like behind like a behind the scenes puppet master.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. Amara, the best comparison is there's definitely, you could either say Kingpin, or I think probably the best one for any Spectacular Spider-Man fans out there, she's definitely Norman Osborn. She's creating the villains, but basically, if you had like a more morally questionable, for a greater good, perhaps, but again, doing some evil things. That basically, what if a more morally upstanding a more morally ambiguous Norman Osborn, or just the Kingpin?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so by the way, a little fun fact. I don't know if we've ever mentioned this. Mara Wilson does the voice of Liv Amara, right?
Yep, Matilda herself.
Not really.
Yeah, little girl from Thomas the Tank Engine movie. She's
man.
And Mrs. Doubtfire. She's
and wasn't she Matilda?
Yes.
Yeah, Matilda. Yeah.
Yep,
Classic 90s kid actress right there.
Arch enemy of nostalgia critic. Yeah.
Matilda's one of my favorites from when I was growing up.
Granted, Doug Walker and kind of made a very questionable move this week. So, we got to remember her more for her 90s movies than that necessarily. Anyway,
so also Fred, we brought back the stealth suit in a really clever way. I love how the plan worked wonderfully. So Fred's going in with Heathcliff. He's in on the action. The infiltrate is kind of an eccentric driver who wants in, and and Fred's just kind of stealthing around there, just kind of getting the drop on things to help out. The plan's going wonderfully, and we have
It's just good that these villains don't really do background checks. Like, maybe we should check to see if this guy's rich.
Clearly, he has a monocle, therefore he must be rich.
Obviously.
I mean, poor people don't have monocles. I mean, that's just science. Anyway, so so I love the Stan. So again, the Stanley cameo is really great. What we have here, where he has I don't know why. I might be saying it. I just love these saying, "Oh, I schooled Heathcliff on undercover work," and they with Minimax just like, "I like this. I like Heathcliff. It's like anything in the pursuit of justice." So I love just the implied history of Boss Awesome and Heathcliff with that little interjection of.
I could imagine like a similar history with Thomas Wayne and Alfred.
Yes, I wonder if we'll ever see that on television.
Ooh.
But no, you're right though. In all seriousness, yeah, I do see your point.
Right. So I guess let's talk about the actual roommate stuff with this episode, because it is what the episode is named after all.
Yeah, of course, fate of the roommates being a little bit of Fast and the Furious, a little reference there. It can mix. So again, it's kind of a clever title. It's kind of the roommate story continued along with kind of a Fast and the Furious sort of angle with all the driving and kind of the
family
and heist with fast drag racing cars.
I have such a random Fast and the Furious tidbit for you guys. You ready?
Sure.
Too Fast, Too Furious is the only Fast and the Furious movie I've ever seen.
Huh.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
I can't get over how this new spin-off for the Fast and the Furious with I guess Hobbs and whoever the other guys, basically The Rock and those guys. Here's the thing. at the start, like the first trailer put out for the Idris Elba is kind of this super bad guy. It's like, oh my god, I want to see this movie until it's Fast and Furious. Now I've lost my interest completely. And how does this have anything to do with race? How does this have anything to do with racing cars anymore? Which is fast cars with I don't know.
Well, to be fair, I think they kind of transitioned it from racing to like stunts.
Yeah, like saving the world plots. Like, really? Do we need saving the world plots with fast cars?
I've never seen any Fast and Furious movie.
I mean, beyond the first one, nor have I, really.
I don't even know why I saw the second one in theaters. It was just like randomly like, hey, Dad, here's a cool summer movie we could go watch. Too Fast, Too Furious. Honestly, I think even as a kid, the title just amused me and I kind of saw it ironically.
Okay, anyway, let's get off the Fast and Furious. Let's get back on to the roommate story here. Yeah, so what I like about the roommate story.
Six Fast, Six Furious.
Oh god.
Oh god. So what I love about what I do really like about the story is that we show the fact that we chime in with the roommate story again after time. It's the second season. We're doing the next roommates part here, and we see the progression on Go-Go. We've kind of lived with her a little bit in the past episodes. We haven't had an episode before, but we've seen her. She's been with Honey Lemon. She's been kind of in other people's stories. She's been growing as a person, and of course now she's grown accustomed to Honey Lemon shenanigans, but she can't bring herself to say it.
Which I really like it's kind of interesting to see their dynamic here. I mean,
who had a good role in this episode is Baymax.
Yes.
And we usually don't really honestly say too much about Baymax besides like, oh, Baymax was his usual funny self. But Baymax, I feel like we got to like kind of the deeper level with him in this episode. It's like one of the few episodes that really kind of developed him as a character.
But I think how it goes like beyond like his standard healthcare stuff. I mean,
yeah.
It's more like he actually kind of acted more like a personal psychologist here. He didn't.
Yeah, he was yeah.
It's like it's good to actually be honest with others, like, and with yourself. Like you need to be honest with others and yourself, basically.
I think the parallel to the end wake up call for Go-Go, I think, was a little too faint. Where we have like the whole Yama and Sparkles communication issues. That's what we kind of broke
that was a little forced.
I felt like we have to connect the themes. We have to show Go-Go like Baymax is right. You should be honest with Honey Lemon with your partner here. You should be honest, and just felt a little too telegraphed for you. I think that's the only reason Yama's in the episode. Yama's like trying to go like, yeah, we stopped him, of course. Yama. Anyway,
I do like that Yama's becoming more like I remember he was like the correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't he the main villain of the movie, the original like Baymax Returns movie?
Pretty much. Yes. I mean, like he was gathering the stuff for Obake, but he was pretty much
he runs the bot fighting. He's kind of a low level but recurring guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's kind of fun that now he's one of the villains that's more on the Big Hero 6 side of things, where it's like he's kind of siding with them a little bit in some areas.
Kind of like Globby, to a lesser version of Globby, one could say.
I'm still glad that they got Paul Briggs to do his voice again.
Well, also, remind me, because these episodes are a little mixed up for me. We get Felony Carl in this episode, right?
No, we get Felony Carl in the other episodes. Well, wait, hold it. No, you're right. We do get Felony Carl in this episode for a beat, because they go to Felony Carl to find out where the races are being held. Basically, what Felony Carl knows about what he knows about the coin, like a little kind of token that gets you into the race.
Felony Carl's always a delight.
I can't get enough of Felony Carl. Diedrich Bader, man. Diedrich Bader, yeah.
I knew him back when he was Delinquent Carl.
Yeah. And again, a working partnership there. Again, somewhat, maybe not roommates, but they're buddies.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see an episode focusing on Felony Carl and Globby.
Oh, I'd love to see a Felony Carl episode. That'd be great.
A perfect world.
Yes.
I mean, if my legs guy from SpongeBob could get an episode.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. That guy really. So it's not. This isn't just like a meme, right? You mean that my legs guy actually got an episode?
No, that actually happened, Dragon. That episode exists.
Yeah,
Was
there's an
that
episode.
during like the quote unquote good reboot of episodes, or like the good like in the like when?
It was honestly, it was just okay. It was just kind of like, it was.
I mean,
it
was that like when?
terrible.
And was that like when Hillenburg came back for a spell, or was that before that?
I think it was.
It was during his return.
Yeah, it was during his return. Yeah.
It was like in season 11 or 12.
Right, gotcha.
But anyways.
Right.
Okay. Anything else about the episode? Of course, the picture, the selfie at the end is adorable.
That's why I tried to find this one. I tried to find like the most memorable parts of each episode,
Mm.
and that's why I went with this one. Really captures the two of them pretty well.
So the big highlight, of course, at the very end, the big connecting point that will basically bleed into the other episodes in a big way, mainly pay off in episode 8 big time, is that Sparkles is consorting with Amara in terms of he wants in whatever Amara's got going on. He's donated. Again, importantly, Amara is still collecting a vast fortune for something. She needs a lot of money to make something happen. And again, for a while, we were always kind of wondering what the heck is she? Is it just like business to keep her lab open, or just general projects, kind of day-to-day business? But we did find out she does have a special project going on. So most likely, all this money is funding that special project.
But what could it be?
Yes. All right.
Okay, so episode 7.
Muira-Horror.
Muira-Horror.
Yeah, I don't really care for this one all that much outside of the Cray stuff.
I'm for the most part, I'm simpatico with you. Basically, it's a better sequel to the predecessor when we were in Mirror Woods.
But the predecessor was probably one of the weaker episodes in season 1, so that's not really even saying that much.
I know, but it's kind of nice to say, though, right? I mean,
Yeah,
better
yeah.
than the other one, though.
I mean, it's still not great.
I'm just saying, speaking to the season, that they're kind of taking the old ideas, they're just kind of like stuck to the wall and like, well, we can actually make something for this. I mean, it's not, well, it's better, so.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and it had some plot relevance at the end too.
That it did. So yeah, again, we're hitting our plot beats. Even in these episodes, they're like, but again, we're hitting our major beats. So first off, you're right, Tiki. The Cray stuff is actually really good, and we find that Cray is actually really helpful and smart for a change in the wild.
Which is a nice change of pace.
And we get some background on him too. Like, he went to boarding school. He was alone. And he was a fire scout. Camper.
Yeah, I love this twist on Cray, and I like that they bring it back in a future episode.
I like the theme attached to this. The theme is, and the lesson the hero learns from this is that don't underestimate people, which of course correlates to the Liv Amara story. Don't underestimate Liv Amara, which of course comes into play in the following episodes, especially the following episode.
Oh yeah.
It was definitely interesting to see when he reveals the other side had lush foliage, which indicated a major source of water nearby. He's actually knew what he was talking about.
Oh yeah.
It's considering how this series has been painting him as of late, it's actually interesting to see an episode devoted to actually showing how he actually can be resourceful even in these kinds of situations where he would seem out of his element.
Yep. Hey, let me ask you this, guys. The Cresistant. What do you think the deal with him is? Because I think he's a genetically engineered. Well, I think he's a genetically engineered hench assistant. That's what I think he is. I think he's just. I think there's something special about this guy we're building up here because he's awfully agile and stuff. And I think because he can go toe to toe with essentially with the Hibbigong, both in the human form. But something about this Cresistant guy is got me wondering. Like, this guy has there's something genetically special about this guy because Liv Amara being her special. I think we're going to see this guy turn to a monster or something by the end of the season in a big way.
It seems based on the way Liv seems to interact with him and all the stuff that he's capable of doing.
Oh god, it's going to be like Chris Hemsworth in Ghostbusters.
God, maybe not that horrifying. Like gonna have like a dance party and get possessed and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
I still regret watching that movie, by the way, because I wanted to see if all the hubbub was about, and it was genuinely bad.
All right. Anyway.
So Amara. So speaking of the persistence, so Amara's the big thing of Amara here. So she goes to the Mirror Woods. She goes to the Mirror Woods basically, I believe, mainly for the land, but then she comes across something. She comes across Bessie. She comes across Bessie, and
well, from what I saw, it's like she actually was trying to find the meteor because she had like newspaper clippings of it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a while, folks. Yeah, you're right though. Yes. So she is coming there looking for the source, and of course, little does she know, oh my God, it's Bessie, this kind of this personified meteorite turned the special friend of a Ned Ludd. So basically, she steals Bessie, and then turns Ned Ludd into an actual, honest to goodness, real Hibbigong.
Yes, indeed.
Which again, this is kind of what we were looking for in the first go around. Like, oh man, the Hibbigong is just a crazy, it's just a crazy hick in the woods. Really, that's your Hibbigong. We actually made an honest to goodness Hibbigong, so that was kind of that was fulfilling, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little biased, but I've just seen this type of like hick in the woods who's not what he seems character before. Jacob, you might know what I'm referring to. But it's just kind of like a little played out for me. I wasn't really crazy about it, but then again, this is just kind of like cynical Tiki, and I wasn't really crazy about the episode in general, so forgive me if I'm just not, I don't know.
Liv Amara did have this really great line in the episode I really liked, where she said, "Oh, it's pretty. When I'm done, you'll be beautiful." I don't know. It's gonna.
That was a good line. That was a good line for sure.
I love that Liv Amara, she's not letting. Basically, she's again in reference to the season. It's like Amara, she's not let anything in season one go to waste. Which leads to a lot of opportunities. She's basically taking all the frivolous things in season one in place. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna make something of this. I'm gonna help this forward my big master plan. And yeah, it's kind of compared to the Obake thing, where there's a grand plan in mind. She's improvising a lot in service of a greater plan. But it's like, you know what? Use this.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, she doesn't seem to be losing too much.
Yep, that's my favorite thing about Obake. Obake never had a setback, technically, until the very end. He never really had a setback, and even then, he kind of went on his own terms. How much,
He was like, "Oh, all right, you have a setback for me. I'll see your setback and raise you this." Aha!
I like that Cray also. I'm sorry, go on.
We have yet to see what Amara's ultimate goal is, but even when things seem to go bad, and even when she discards something, it seems to end up benefiting her in the end.
Uh huh.
Even if inadvertently, somehow she still comes out on top.
Exactly. Because she was on. Bear in mind, she was probably still looking for the meteor source, but by the same time, again, she was just going to buy those woods anyway, and then just going to comb through, and it just lands in her lap. So again, by proxy, basically, she lands in the whole Hibbigong story, and she kind of lands an extra henchman on the side too, with kind of an extra kind of distraction, more accurately. Hibbigong. But I also want to mention this with Cray. I do like that Cray, he makes the ethical choice. And again, I think Cray might be evolving as a businessman. Again, I don't want to just say he's going to be changed overnight, because obviously he's not going to be. But
no, but I think the season is doing good in terms of like developing his character beyond just like, he's so selfish and greedy because he's a cartoon character of a businessman stereotype.
Yeah, because he's not going over again. It's for kind of has a little silly Cray twist on it, but it's still an ethical lesson. You know what? I'm not going to buy these woods because for other businessmen to kind of impress their interns in, for other intern mentor bonding.
I love that there's a spontaneous camping trip clause in the soundtrack in the contract. I mean,
so again, this contract is coming back this season.
I think he was one thing you can definitely say, he was definitely thorough in his contracting.
Oh yeah.
Also, Jacob, one of your favorite things, we have times two. We have drunk Baymax, and we have drunk Minimax, and a lot of great comedy there.
Yes.
You're so cute. You're yes, I am.
Fist bump, and of course they just knock each other over. It's I get like John Michael Higgins doing drunk Minimax just cracks me up.
I hope we see more. I hope we see more drunk Minimax.
Oh goodness, just I love Minimax so much. I do. I love when he comes into play. It's always fun.
I think they did a good job of including him in like the usual team roster this season.
Yeah, because he lives at Fred's house. Whenever we go to Fred's house, Minimax.
Yeah.
He even sounds hammy when he's drunk. They really put in the extra. Let's just say when here designer he definitely gave him the extra detail. That's for sure. To make him even be hammy in powered down mode.
Right. So, okay, so a big plot thing's going to transition us into the next one, unless you guys got anything else.
No, not on my end.
Nothing really other than Amara gets Bessie.
Yes, Amara gets Bessie, and she has a plan for Bessie. And the other thing, though, is that Hero, he essentially cures the Hivagong, he removes the chip, and it's not just any chip. We reveal it's a transdermal patch. Now, the transdermal patch was something we introduced last season when we had not Ned Ludd, but we had the Fredricksons who we did something with earlier.
Orso Nox?
Yeah, Orso Nox. Yes, the thing that tied into Orso Nox were Carmi. I'll remind you, this feeds into one of my problems in the next episode. Carmi developed a transdermal patch. Now, whether it's the same or not, I can't say with the utmost certainty. But what I can say is that Carmi, she used those things to save the day last time with kind of a transdermal patch sort of tech, which, again, that might be a little bit of headcanon. I'm not sure how much this impressed Liv Amara in that episode. So I don't know if this is what got her the scholarship or what. Or, not the scholars, got the internship or what. But Carmi used these transdermal patches, and it seems that Liv maybe has hired Carmi to acquire the transdermal patch, at least the patent on her, or vice versa, or basically be able to access that technology and see what else Carmi can cook up. Good thought. All right, so that brings us to episode 8 then. Something
fuzzy.
So I'm going to get into it right now. Dragon, you're not a fan of this one?
No. This one, look, this is a great episode. I just had that one plot.
Okay, good. Because
I have one plot hole with. This is what the plot hole is, but this is a fun. I agree with you. This again, the best thing I can say about the episode. This shows you how much I do like a lot of this episode. We have a moment that feels like it's pulled straight from Daredevil season 1, episode 8. It feels just like the ending of Shadows Under Glass. It does. Remember?
Yeah, for sure.
There's a Kingpin moment at the end of it. So how can I not like this episode?
I just, you know what? I don't even care about any of the Kingpin stuff. I mean, not to say it isn't well done. What I like about this episode is that it's like, forget the plot stuff, forget any of the overarching villain scheme. I just think this episode is effing hilarious. I mean, this is just such it's a good cartoon episode. You know what I mean? It's a great standalone animated series episode that's just a fun, memorable premise pulled off well. And that's the best thing I can say about this. I had a ton of fun with this one.
While it has that, it is motivated from a really great plot place here. So again, there's a really great correlation to the plot and what kind of gets us to this place. Because remember, this is all from Amara trying to cover herself in the public eye. All of this.
No, I mean, I get you. It is good plot. It is good plot. I hear you. But I'm saying, I'm saying the strength of the episode. What I admire so much about it is that even with that good plot stuff that ties in through the rest of the season, it's still a good standalone episode with a lot of great visual humor and just clever writing. And I don't know. It really kind of, to me, it's by far the best episode of the season, honestly.
So, okay, well, first off, before we dive back into kind of the some of the fun and the nitty gritty, I want to talk about the opening, because the opening we have the scrapyard fight with Trina, Noodle Burger Boy, which again, I love that sense of family with those two, and the fact that we have this really great bit here. I love it's kind of a wake up call for Hero, where Trina she's stealing parts and she's trying to upgrade herself, trying to upgrade the two of them. And she calls us out, like, all these monsters and upgrades lately, we're just trying to keep up with the rest of them. And again, that's kind of the wake-up call for Hero that,
man.
What?
I said it's phase 2, man.
Yeah, they're getting all phase 2, and then basically, basically Hero is kind of, he has the wake-up call of like, oh my god, yeah, that's a little too coincidental. I think they're all tied to Liv Amara. And again, it kind of has him asking the right questions apropos enough at the Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
Which I gotta tell you, there was a real cheap the Q&A. I think Bluff Duffer, the reporter. I gotta be honest, I think the height jokes were a little unnecessary. I think we just needed a joke or something. Let me put it this way: I'm impressed that we didn't go the stinky route because say Hero during the scrap before he got buried in trash and garbage and scrap. And basically stinks. And we had like little wave lines and everything. I like that we didn't just do the obvious route with like, oh god, wait a minute, you're asking these really good questions, but you stink. We didn't go that route, but then we just kind of go out of left field, like, oh yeah, you're asking these really good questions, but you're short. It just feels a little pointed to me, don't you think? You're short, so you don't matter.
I hear you. I was totally with you on that. That humor didn't really land with me either.
So let's talk about Tia. It sounds like you really want to talk about, and I'm getting a sense a lot of the humor is coming from the Maori, the Mao. Was it Maori or Maui?
I think it's Maori. I don't know.
I think it's Maui.
There you go. I'm
Maori, yeah.
M-A-Y. Like, I don't know if it's May or My, but
Maori.
Okay.
Maui.
Yeah. These guys are just ridiculous. I mean, first of all, I just love all the humor of all the cast. I kind of just getting brainwashed by them one by one as if it's like the most adorable slasher movie ever put together in 5 minutes of screen time.
Reminds me of the Jimmy Neutron episode. Reminds me of that TV movie.
Attack of the Twonkies.
Yeah, Attack of the Twonkies. Yeah, that's the one.
And second of all, when the turn happens and they start to grow, honestly, it's genuinely unnerving, and I love it.
I gotta be honest.
How many of them there are in like a small space and just how big they are. It's genuinely like if you could picture something like that going down in real life, like that one scene where the giant one just kind of confronts the mother with the baby in the stroller. I mean, there's some frightening stuff going on in this episode in spite of the cuteness, and the cuteness just kind of like adds to the absurdity, and I love that juxtaposition. It's got a very Gremlins-like flair to it almost.
The creepy thing is that until the big climax, they're all, even when they're big and threatening, they're docile. Remember, they're just like happy-go-lucky on there.
Absolutely, and I think that makes it all the more unnerving is the fact that they're like absolutely not meaning to cause any harm, and yet they totally are.
No, admittedly, they become less cute as they get bigger. Like their bodies are less chibi and more.
Yeah.
More fungi, more just expanding fungi.
Yes.
So let me tell you this: my experience watching this episode, and no, this isn't why I have like a few gripes with the episode, but I will be honest, because again, this really saved the episode for me. Had the big kind of shadows under glass moment not have happened at the end, I would have had a problem with the episode because it commented the plot in terms of, okay, so we're using the Maoi as a smokescreen because a hero is essentially calling her out and like, you just use the same answers all the time in public. You're not giving anyone any real answers and kind of raising the question like, those monsters, are you behind those monsters? Liv Amara, she creates this. Initially, my problem is that, well, she just went, her response to that was she created another monster that I'm sure could be traced to her with the biotech. I mean, so again, it just seems... it seems like a big problem. Like, okay, what are you? I kept asking myself throughout the episode until the reveal what her end game was. Like, so she's just creating a problem for what end? Until that big reveal, like, oh my god, she's using it so she can play hero. So she can basically, she's, as the Kingpin did in episode 8 of Daredevil, she's stepping into the role of the hero in the public, in the light. So she's taking away any skepticism, and she's teaming up with the Big Hero 6. Therefore, it's like there's nothing they can do, and erasing all scrutiny.
That's like, to me, it's like that makes the episode like you said, it does have a grander purpose within the narrative of the season.
Yes,
but but I think that the better payoff to it is the fact that, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself here, but I just like how I could totally see this being a really rewatchable episode for me, just because of how many visual gags it has and how it is kind of genuinely unnerving as it goes along. Like, again, the word standalone kind of comes to mind in a good way for me.
And again, it's a deviously clever plan. We using Mr. Sparkles as the fall guy. That to me was brilliant. Like, oh god, and this is a thing Liv Amara has going for so far. Yeah.
And considering how people see Mr. Sparkles, it's definitely something he'd do.
Again, the big, he's an he's an egomaniac. He wants attention, so he gets his ends are serviced, and of course he gets the upgrade he wants so he can commit crimes. Again, it's all in notoriety. He's thriving on it entirely. And what I love about this is that,
and he has an army of adorable little minions.
Yes, he's got an army of minions. Again, what I love about this is that he, oh yeah. So I love that Mara. She's pulled off the perfect bait and switch. He's the fall guy, and this is what fuels what I love about Liv Amara. Where Liv Amara, she's the villain you love to hate, and that's the thing she has going for her. Rabaki was the guy who never lost, and again he was kind of that Rachel figure. Where again, Liv Amara, she's beyond scrutiny, and you want her to be taken down. It's like you love, again, you hate her, but by the same token, it's like, man, they're really making me feel hatred for this character because I just want her to be taken down. It's like, yeah, they got my interest with her, man. Mm-hmm. They're doing a good job. So that's the main thing she has going with her so far.
It's almost like at this point, Big Hero 6 can't afford to go against her.
Yeah.
Mainly because, they know at the end, they know that something's off with Mr. Sparkles not being able to do any of that, but there's no way they can actually prove it.
And I love that Hero did not want to take the help, but he had to. I just love that, Hero's just looking at him, like, yeah, I got it, because she's just handing him, like, you need a hand? He's like, oh, God, he doesn't want to do it. Baymax convinces him, for the greater good, And I'm with him, because, again, it's got me wrapped up, and oh, darn it, but Hero, she's got the antidote thing that Carmi helped her out. And again, let me address this. Again, the episode's great in terms of plotting. Now, there is one plot hole in this episode. This thing that could hurt the season a little bit for me if it goes any further, because this is a little glaring. Transdermal patch. Again, Hero goes to Carmi saying, Liv Amara's up to something, And again, I don't know if they've forgotten this from the first season or what, but again, Carmi, you were the one who, he's brandishing the patch and everything. He's showing it off at the Q&A, and just show it to Carmi and wake her up. Just say, this patch is being used to create monsters. Where did you make the patch? Where are you still making the... I don't know.
I'll agree that the Carmi stuff is a little bit of a buy, and it's probably not the best writing of the season, and I do agree that it could potentially, Carmi wasn't the greatest part of season 1 either, but at least she kind of had an arc to her, and not to say that she doesn't have an arc here, but I agree with you, Dragon, it could be problematic going forward.
I don't mind, using Carmi. If you're going to use Carmi, though, don't just have her just for the sake of doing more Carmi. I need Carmi there for a reason. If you're going to use her for a plot reason, I need it to make sense. Otherwise, you're going to have issues like this, where we're stuck with... this season so far, in every other aspect, we've taken stuff from the previous seasons and we repurpose it in a really clever way, whether, again, it's maybe not dazzling, but it's worked. And in the case of Carmi, though, again, that's a problem. If we're doing that with everything else, yet not this thing, and again, I'm sure to this kind of casual viewer, it's okay, who cares? It's a dermal patch. Who cares? But still, it's kind of adds up in a while. It's going to seem again, it's going to be a plot hole where, all the Obaka stuff was so beautifully plotted last season. Amara is building a lot of traction, but we do something like that. It's that's kind of an unchecked box there. That's a little glaring.
I hear you. It's
again, that's the only knock I have. That's the only legitimate knock I have against the episode, because otherwise, it's aside from the height jokes, it's pretty solid.
Can we go back to how funny everyone's initial reactions to the Mabai are?
Melee, yeah. Not Mogwai, Tiki. They're Melee.
So it is. They are kind of They are kind of Gremlins-esque, though.
Just like I said, I love how it's they are. But I love how everyone just kind of gets suckered into them one by one. I mean, it's like it basically goes like, of course, Honey Lemon would be the first one to fall, if you will. And then Go, it's like she's got the rough exterior, but secretly she's a softie, so she goes quickly. And then Fred, of course, is suckered into them very quickly. Wasabi tries to put up some resistance to him, but, ultimately he's a softie too, so he can't help it.
Baymax didn't get it.
Yeah, and even Baymax is like, oh, so cute.
Again, he didn't even get it initially, and that just shows you the power of these freaking things.
And then, of course, the big payoff is Granville. I just love Granville. It's already wrapped up in it.
Like, when Baymax is all, what exactly is cute? I was like, I don't get it. And then at the end, he's like taking all their attributes somewhat literally, and then created something he thought would be cute.
God.
Which actually ended up being pretty horrifying.
I like. What do you guys think of Sparkle's new design? Now he's melded with the because basically, again, in addition to getting to control the Mayoi, he's melded with kind of the fungi abilities. So he's kind of all mutated and kind of fungi now. So I mean, again, what the look wise, I mean, I like that. I think they've gotten rid of the pink tuft of hair he has in the later episodes, but here he has like the little pink tuft of hair on top of all the green.
Now he really is a fun guy.
Yeah, a little fungus that Mr. Sparkles.
Yeah, I like it.
Like I said, and
What a
it allows
fun guy.
And it allows him to be in control of his adorable little minions.
Yep. The worst thing you can give a game show host, chibi henchman.
Adorable chibi henchman.
Adorable chibi henchman.
Yes.
All right. I think that about wraps it up for that episode, unless you guys have anything else.
Nope.
Not really.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Supersonic Sue.
Yeah, this one was kind of like just a fun, old school, like villain of the week type episode that didn't really need any sort of plot in it. I don't think it's as wall to wall packed with entertainment as the last episode was. But by the same token, Dragon and I and Jacob are kind of all running on the assumption that because the episode ends with the in memoriam to Stan Lee, this is probably going to be the last we see of Stan Lee's character in the show. And honestly, guys, I don't think they could have done it any better. Like, this was honestly both these cameos, but especially in this episode with Stan Lee, it was kind of like a nice surprise. It was just like we all sort of like Endgame, we all thought was going to be the last hurrah for Stan Lee, but then this was like a nice little like, a nice little epilogue to Stan Lee's on-film career. And I think it wrapped everything up so nicely. I love the fact that he got like kind of like a supporting role in the episode that ultimately results in him actually stepping in and fighting and being a part of the action. That's all great. I don't know. It just kind of serendipitously just kind of feels right to end Stan's legacy off on this. I don't know if he's got any other voice work or stuff that's in the pipeline that's still yet to be released, but this is this is something kind of posthumously that's just very feels very appropriate as one of the last things that he worked on.
I'm gonna sound all soft here, but I gotta dance. It did move me quite a great deal. I don't know why. Just like Stan Lee coming in to save the day, saving the next generation. We have like the kind of the ultimate pillar of the old school. Again, to quote Frank and quote Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnson from The Incredibles, "Old school, nothing like the old school."
There's no school.
And
like
I just like Stan Lee coming in to save the day. No school like the old school. Nothing like it. I love. I love Boss Awesome coming in, as literally it's like a we gave Stan Lee a Western entrance, and he looks great. He's in the costume fully, and he's back in the fray, and like kind of a symbol of the old school heroism. And it had some laughs, but also just Stan Lee coming to save the kids, man. Like how much? come on, that's how much more poetic can you get? Stan Lee entering the episode like a western, saving our young heroes. I mean, that's Stan Lee in a nutshell, man. Like, that's what he did for all of us, but we kind of heightened it a little bit here. More heightened space. So yeah, as a Stan Lee farewell, it is quite a great send off, assuming it is such. And a real quick one to read some comments here. We got some from Donovan Martin. In reference to the whole kind of slot of episodes here, started watching this as of late. Really good. So Donovan has recently taken up watching Big Hero 6. I don't know if he's fully caught up or not, but he's had a good time watching Big Hero 6, and also says, I'm glad Stan Lee had a voice. He's glad Stan Lee had a cameo. They had a few left in the season, so that's really nice.
Speaking of Donovan, I was actually just replying to him on Twitter. He was inquiring about the Aladdin spoiler cast. Jacob, just I guess to get housekeeping out of the way while we're on air, tomorrow at 11, that work for you?
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, Donovan, that'll be happening tomorrow at 11. And also, I was just while I was doing that, I kind of just glanced on Donovan's feed, and he has this really hilarious. I'm just mentioning this because you're both Rick and Morty fans. He's got this really hilarious GIF of not a GIF, but it's like a meme of John Wick, just like, oh boy, here I go killing again.
You know what's funny? Another Rick and Morty thing we got during the Katie Garland interview.
Yeah.
We got a comment that said our opening reminded them of Rick and Morty.
Oh, remind me what we did with the opening. It was
the grab bag thing. She's in the bag. Remember the whole?
Oh yeah. That's funny. I'm glad that someone actually appreciated that, because I thought that was a well thought out bit of humor on your end, Dragon.
Anyway. So back to the episode. Hey, let me tell you, so I really do like this episode. And again, the Stanley stuff really, even if I didn't like anything, that Stanley stuff, it was beyond awesome to me, and hence the character. But I gotta be honest though, there's one issue one big missed opportunity episode though. Again, we have this character, Supersonic Sue, who again is really cool. We got Jane Lynch doing the voice. It's a really cool, kind of a gimmick, 70s retro gimmick and look to the character, the roller skates and all that. That's great. But again, if you looked at this character, what do you think is like the perfect match for Go-Go, like the perfect excuse to do a Go-Go story, at least as the B story or something?
Acknowledge the Go-Go thing, and then, it's like, oh, she's faster than Go-Go.
Yeah, but we don't do that till like we do it. Yes, we do it once in the opening, but again, you do think, okay, so it means it's Go-Go's gonna have something to prove against this Supersonic Sue character. Maybe I don't know, a bit of a story of her own, right? We don't do anything until the very, very end, which again is good, but it's like really a little too late, guys. Where it's just Sue says, "You inspired me to come back out of retirement."
I will agree. That felt a little rushed on.
That's a good idea, but again, like that
almost reminds me of the other thing they pulled with like the the thing with at the end of the Roommates episode, the moral that Baymax.
The Yama thing, right?
Yeah, with Yama.
That's what I'm saying. Like again, like you're on wrong. The go like again, the part of me just I think it would have been really neat to see a little bit more of the whole Go-Go maybe kind of be inspired by the old school and vice versa. I think that would have been a really good story, at least the B story. I mean, what we got is fine. It's just like that's a big missed opportunity to me.
Supersonic Sue kind of reminds me of a Kim Possible villain almost.
Yeah, it feels a little.
She does. I feel you. Also, maybe
definitely wouldn't be out of place in that series.
Yep. Considering the showrunners did this.
It's probably just me, but her design also kind of called to mind Joan Lee just a little bit.
I didn't quite see that, but
me neither.
That thing is, if she had an English accent, then I'd buy it. But
yeah, I forget Joan Lee has an English.
However, I will say this though. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard this, but again, I want to just in case there's anyone who hasn't seen Endgame, with the Stan Lee.
This point
with the Stan Lee cameo, it is implied. Many people have kind of connected the dots here. I hope they're right, because I think it'd be really lovely if they're right. Is that there's a girl in Stan Lee's cameo, and many people believe the girl that is with him is supposed to be Joan Lee, which I think would be lovely if that were the case. But
nice, right.
I think that'd be really nice, because there's nothing saying it can't be true. But I mean, my own little headcanon, I like to think that's the case.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, okay, so back up. So let's talk about the other Fredrickson. Let's talk about Fred.
Yes. Now remind me, this is the one where he's got that bromance going on with Mole, right?
Yeah. He and Richardson Mole, they go to the taste testing for the new I guess the double whatever the new noodle burger is, and of course there's they bond over their hate of cilantro.
Which by the way, I totally share. I totally share that. That's a very relatable foodie thing.
I gotta be honest though, it is fun to say.
People put cilantro in way too many things, and it drives me crazy. And I always have to ask for no cilantro. So that was very relatable.
What does cilantro taste like?
I don't even know how to describe it. It's just very it's like very earthy, and it's just a very overpowering flavor that just kind of like ruins all the other flavors. It doesn't really blend well with other flavors, and yet people insist on using it.
Cilantro.
Anyways.
Yes, but anyway, so but yeah, I gotta be honest. So initially, I was a little. I gotta tell you, there's a little bit of a disappointing double cross. A little disappointing story here. Where I initially thought, hey, Fred and Richardson Mole actually become a little bit of buddies here. And then, of course, it revealed Richardson Mole's actually been conning him the whole time. I was like, oh man, that's a little disheartening. I just kind of took that. I think took a neat little story out of the episode there. But then we kind of bought it back a little. That's the thing
I like the yeah, for sure.
That's my thing with a lot of this second half, a lot of this. Well, I shouldn't say second half. A lot of this episode 6 through 10. If something didn't really win me over, at the very least, it would buy it back, or in some way try to, or basically, if I wasn't feeling something during the episode, usually the ending or something later in the episode, buy it back in a big way. And I think we kind of had that here, where it's Mole has everything, but he has no one. He's scheming against Fred. His scheming against Fred is all he's got to impress, well, nobody.
Oh,
like he needs those more than me.
Yeah, his ego.
By the way, I fucking love that there's a Polybus Fred arcade machine.
Polybius? I just love how much he's taken his fixation on Fred Fredrickson here. Just taking all of this. He's so obsessed he's gonna theme every classic game after and turn it into a Fred bashing game,
including one that's like an infamous urban legend that caused like seizures and shit for people who played it.
And again, it's the hilarious thing is that he loves a lizard guy, or basically whatever, chameleon. Yeah. And basically with Fred, he's after Fred, and he's a very different guy.
Flash Thompson dynamic.
Yeah, a lot of Flash Thompson in there for sure. It's kind of rich, snooty Flash Thompson.
Yep. Well, I think he's kind of a fanboy to everyone and to all Big Hero 6 in general.
Well, sure.
But it's probably. But I think Lizard Man might be his favorite.
Oh yeah, big time.
Or whatever he decides to call Fred.
So I really do like that Fred is showing compassion for his enemy. Man, that's a big thing with superhero stories, man. I really did appreciate that. Kind of a little quiet moment where Fred he shows compassion for his enemy. You know what? I don't need to steal back my thing. This guy, he does. I don't need to. I'm not going to belittle myself by getting into a grudge with this guy. You know what? It's kind of a sad peek behind the curtain. It was a really nice moment. I didn't need like Minimax covered in gross, kind of gross like butter and popcorn and stuff. I didn't need that. A little gross. I got to be honest, personally, for me. It's like, oh man, I didn't need to see that. But it was a good conversation. Like, he's just like, you are blowing my mind right now. So, I mean, Fred did kind of cut to the core with some of the stuff I love about Hero, specifically like a Batman or so. Like, you have to help your enemies. You have to help. You help their people even if they're your enemy. That's a great moral. I stand behind that, man. So,
mm-hmm.
Right. So Steamer, man, we got the Steamer back.
Yeah,
Baron von Steamer.
Baron von Steamer.
Yep. Jeff Bennett's at it again.
Oh yeah,
we got a team up going on there. I like the implied history between, they had like the history between Steamer and Supersonic Sue. And of course, let's talk about Supersonic Sue's catchphrase for a moment.
Sue me, what? So sue me.
Supersonic Sue me, why don't you?
Oh my god, I love it.
It's so bad. It falls into the category of so bad it's good.
Yes, I love it.
Just like so desperate, like, well, I need something. I need some sort of catchphrase. Let's see how can I work Sue into it.
And I tell you, it's a really. I'll go on.
No, I just you go ahead.
I was gonna say, I really do love the action with this whole kind of team up they got going on here, where they go up against all the big Hero Six. Again, they're really they're really formidable team when it really comes down to it. Baymax. Why is Baymax's overdrive move never really work? That's my real question. Like, why is the overdrive move? Just overdrive seems to be like a really bad idea at this point. Rarely does it work.
Well, it seems like it was. The problem is like it was too slow to go against Supersonic Sue, which is at seen as a logical weakness for someone who's extremely quick.
Well, sure, but every time he does it of late, it just seems to be like, well, man, that was just kind of fruitless. We just need to get Baymax out of the story. It just seems like.
Well, I mean, basically they show how powerful Baymax is, and if they can evade that, it's just like, oh, they're actually someone to be taken seriously.
Yeah, it might be kind of a lesser version of like a Justice League Season 1 problem, or basically the Justice League Season 1, the biggest problem with that season, the reason, again, say what you will about Justice League, the series as a whole, Season 1 kind of sucked at times. Because...
Oh, wow, really? I did not know this.
Okay, I'm generalizing a little bit. But more accurately, there were problems in the first season.
Okay.
The biggest problem, basically there were recurrent glaring problems. And the recurrent glaring problem in question was Superman. They had to weaken Superman considerably to show that, oh man, everything the Justice League's going up against this week, it could be the end of the Justice League because they took out Superman. And it's like every time it was like any random like blast of of something, it's like, oh man, Superman's been taken out. We're goners. So people, again, I'm piling on. Bear in mind, it was that and the Martian Manhunter always got knocked out. We kept taking out the two most powerful guys. Like Martian Manhunter, every time he tried to read a mind or he got electrically shocked, he's like, oh well, he's out of commission. So much for the guy's practically as strong as Superman. It sans the Kryptonian part of it all. I don't know. Point is, like, we have an overpowered character, we have to take him out just to kind of show the point there. So yeah, and just like season 1's fine. Just season 2 is so much like season. It's like season 2 kicks the crap out of season 1. It's very apparent.
No.
They saw where season 1 wasn't cutting the mustard, and they made vast improvements.
No, I mean, all I'm saying is that I never expected to hear Justice League and sucks in the same sentence from you, unless we're talking about the movie, of course.
It had problems. All right, it sucks is unkind. It had problems. All right, so first season emphasis. First season, anyway. Okay, but getting back to this episode though, I'm trying to think if there's anything major we. The funniest Baymax lure when he did after the overdrive thing that we had to do with this hilarious bit there. So the villains, what breaks them up is the fact they want to be the number one villain. Of course, that's kind of what breaks up their partnership. Where Steamer really, no, I want to be the number one. He takes Sue out, and of course, plays them. It's no problem for Boss Hustle to take the Steamer out. And we have this great thing as they're being led away. He says, tell me, who is your number one arch enemy? He says, cabbage soup. I love it, but it does not love me. And we get the Steamer saying, no! And then we get the more hilarious Baymax is echoing, like, no! Right?
Oh, God.
Hysterical. Oh, wonderful.
All right.
Like you said, I always love seeing a drunk Baymax. I mean, I know it's technically low battery Baymax, but it's just more fun to say drunk Baymax.
Yep.
Okay, so episode 10, Lie Detector. Yeah, guys, I got to admit, maybe the Amara stuff is intriguing, but I just thought this episode was just super repetitive, and that just dragged it down. It's like, how many gags can you get out of, like, oh, Baymax is going off about the character lying, but the other character doesn't know that he's lying, and it's causing awkward situations. I don't know, guys. I will admit it. It might be because I just watched these episodes all in one chunk, and by the time I got to this one, I was maybe a little bit Big Hero 6'd out. That could be part of it, but I don't know. I just like I said, the Amara stuff is intriguing. I won't take that away from it, but I just thought the joke in this episode, just for the most part, did not land with me.
Tiki, I don't know if you recall because you were in low battery mode last time, but when Jacob revealed that Lie Detector was going to be like the 10th episode, we basically were going through some episode titles and revealed Lie Detector. And I don't know if you were low battery or not at that point. The point being,
probably low battery, Dragon. I probably was.
I'm saying I think we brought up before that point. That's why I can't recall. when the battery ran low. Point being, Lie Detector, when it was announced, and like just like okay, Hero and Baymax are Baymax can as a lie detector function. He's going they're trying to figure out Liv Amara. When that was announced, like I was really excited for this one. This is the one I was most hyped for comparatively. It wasn't uber hyped. It was like I want to see what happens to it, man. Again, I'm expecting this is kind of getting that Kingpin Daredevil comparison there, where like the human lie detector, and of course it makes sense. Baymax being a health companion, you can read the heart rates. Of course, you'd be able to tell. It's a no-brainer, makes sense, and we'd be able to kind of get like a Hero versus Liv Amara. And after getting to episode 8, it's like okay, we're pitting Hero against Liv Amara, and we're building something there really nice, and we get the lie detector. I'm really excited, and I was let down by this one tremendously, except for the very end. I love the very end. Disappointed everything else.
And I don't even really understand the very end. You'll have to like walk me through the reveal there.
Let me explain. I can do this one.
All right.
It's like one of the things that Hero asks her is like, "Are you responsible for the monsters?" I guess responsible for the monsters, and she says, "No, Liv Amara is not responsible for the monsters."
Very odd phrasing.
Yeah, and at the end, she walks up to something and says, "I'll help you, Liv," implying that she herself, the person they're talking to, is not actually the real Liv Amara.
Okay, so I'm sorry, just run. Is this Jacob? Is this like a Mad Eye Moody and Goblet of Fire thing?
Well, I don't know yet. I mean, we don't know who this person actually is. It's just like
I have a theory.
Just that the person in the goo or what in that chamber
That's what I'm saying. Like, is the person in the goo the real Amara?
That's what it seems to be implying. Because when Hero asked her,
right,
Amara,
I understand that.
She was revealed to not be lying.
So I guess the reveal is that she's some sort of like scroll type. Like, I mean, granted, we don't really know exactly what's going on, but there's some kind of deception going on here.
Yes.
I'm convinced that this Amara is a clone that was bioengineered. Basically, I think the real Liv Amara who's most likely in that stasis. She's in like I don't know if it's cryo state. She's like in that stasis chamber, whatever it is. She's the real Liv Amara in that stasis chamber, presumably was working on cloning. Perhaps because she found out she was sick and she was trying to she was trying to cure herself, and in trying to cure herself, she's probably like kind of cloned her intelligence, put in this thing, so basically she can cure herself of her ailment going forward in the future. That's my bet.
That'd be an interesting. So, I mean, no clones.
Of course, there it goes. Given all the stuff in Kim Possible against clones. I mean, seriously, that right now that's what I'm the point being, she created life of some kind, which I'm imagining, like, why on earth would she just create a clone of herself? I imagine, well, so she can cure her own ailment, and that's probably what the reason is, and that's why this Liv is. It's I have like a creation looking. I think it's less about curing herself; it's more about like kind of curing her career, like curing a mother of some variety. I think that I'd be interested if it goes that route, honestly.
I mean, she's doing something with this with this real Liv person.
Yeah, and again, I love that was like the way of like, 'cause I like the mystery that's put into play with the answer to that question.
Yeah. I mean, it could. I mean, I hope it's not like a whole twin thing.
My theory is maybe that it's like. I think that maybe whatever this Amara is doing, she's doing it to help the real Liv Amara, clearly. But I feel like it's one of those things, it's like the Fantasia broomsticks. You know what I mean? It's like, just because they're doing what they are programmed to do does not necessarily mean that they are doing it in a way that the real Amara would approve of. Do you guys get what I'm getting at here? Yeah. Like maybe in order to save Amara, this Amara has to go to lengths that the real Liv Amara would be kind of horrified would be the cost of saving her life. You know what I mean?
It raises the very interesting question. In the first season, was there any real Liv Amara in there?
Interesting. And I don't think they're going to go the whole twin route, because, like, if you notice, their silhouettes are slightly different. Like, they have a different kind of, like,
twins either. I agree.
Even that means it might not even be clones. I mean, even because even like their facial structure and hair is a bit different too.
The point being, the original Liv Amara probably created a life form of some kind, clone or not. That's the question. The point is, they created a genetically human engineered thing.
I mean, considering the implications with going on with Chris, as you mentioned earlier, it's entirely possible that Liv is also that the Liv we know is also one of those creations.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, this speculation is like by far the most interesting part of the episode, and it's like the last 10 seconds of the episode. So
I do like the inspiration for the gold plot, though. I love that the assistant, the Chris assistant made Chris cakes with the little gold flakes on the top. It looks like that inspired. Like, yes, gold. That's basically she needs a biocompatible metal, basically something that, like the gold, is something that's digestible, that basically could be bioengineered. It's basically would fit in whatever new thing she's coming up with to save the real Liv. Presumably, again, we're assuming she wants to save the real Liv.
Which is actually scientifically accurate because gold is actually soft and can, in small amounts, be edible.
Yes.
So as many liberties as this show takes, that actually is pretty scientifically accurate.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I mean, just Dragon, just kind of to gauge your opinion on this thing. Do you agree with me that the jokes regarding the lies get really repetitive really quickly, and they just stretch it out, and it just feels boring?
Yeah, I'm in absolute agreement with you.
Okay, good. We're complete. Dragon, this is like we might not have agreed entirely with some of the episodes, but man, it feels good to agree with you on this one.
Yeah, it's like basically here my fault in the episode is like we do the restaurant thing, which in this is like, okay, a little clever restaurant scene, and I'm thinking, okay, she engaged engage like how she's telling the truth and things, finds out about the gold there, like that's not bad. But here's the problem, I think the thing you're speaking to, Tiki, is that it's just this big, the lie sound, like lie, whatever. Well, he didn't just say lie, it was like, a little bang, 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 a little sound effect there.
They lie. See, if they made that one change, then I think the episode would be funnier. Like if they made that one change, then I think we could, we could have a much more entertaining premise on our hands. You know what I mean?
I mean, my problem is that it's just at a certain point, it's like, kind of, let's just cut through it here, because how is Hero not instantly, okay, the first time this happens, put him on mute? And we're just going to let this problem recur for the rest of the episode. It just keeps going and going, and it's like, really? Are we not learning from this? And basically, it's all like, he learns the ethics, we learn it's like, oh no, you can't have the lie detector on because it takes like a kind of a modicum of honesty and all this stuff, and that you can't basically the ethics of a lie detector. It's kind of the gist of the story is we're running the ethics of lies through Baymax. I mean, the Baymax side of things is kind of interesting with the lie detector story. That's about it. Like the Baymax questioning why lie. And I have a rant here, mini rant. It's not a big one. It's a little baby rant, little tiny rant. And unfortunately, it does fall to Aunt Cass. It's nothing against her. Nothing against Aunt Cass personally. But here, Aunt Cass is kind of I'm going to celebrate Aunt Cass here for a moment, because Aunt Cass, she calls out an old trope that just has never made any sense, and we kind of call it out here that it never made any sense. It still makes no sense. Where the old adage of you eat someone who can cook, who the joke is either can't cook or in this case is making something that does not taste good. In Aunt Cass' case, Aunt Cass ordinarily she can cook like the day is long, but in this case she's cooking something that is terrible. You would taste the thing that is terrible before you serve it to somebody. As in every sitcom you ever watch, I'm talking to you, Everybody Loves Raymond, anytime you have the character who just can't cook.
You're insulting Raymond, man. They have power to destroy our channel.
Point is, any show where you have a character who can't cook and they make something. Fine, any show but Raymond. Any show where you have that character, like the one person who can, the mother or the father who can't cook, and yet they're making all the food, they would taste it first, like Jill's cooking in Home Improvement. There we go, safer. Okay. Home Improvement. Jill can't cook. We make a running gag. Well, look, if she can't cook, why wouldn't she just taste it before she says, "Hey, taste this"? And it's like, oh, ugh, or someone would lie like, "Oh yeah, it's great." Like, it just makes no sense. And at least we call it out here. It's still not 100% because she's still like, why wouldn't she taste it before? If she tastes it after she asks Hero's opinion, it still doesn't make any sense. At least we raised the issue a little bit here, where Baymax saying, "Well, why did you lie?" "Well, I lied to protect Aunt Cass's feelings." Well, now you're stuck with like the salami and berry concoction, which I don't know what Aunt Cass was thinking there. If I'm being frank, I don't know.
And even she pointed out, I was like, I can't believe he likes this.
Yes, I mean, what? I don't know. The point is, the episode's just still. I don't know. It's the episode is not really batting 1,000. To say it kindly, it's not batting 1,000.
Yeah, I honestly don't really know what else to say about it, man. It's just kind of like it's got an intriguing ending, but it's
well,
there was one really good action sequence though. We had to talk about that.
with what I like to call bear scene.
I think that too, because I was thinking something else. But you're right, Jacob. That is, we almost, Bear. Sorry, Bear Sea's a great shorthand, by the way. I was trying to think of like a good shorthand. I did not think of Bear Sea, but we have Bear Sea, basically the Best Sea infused rock. So the Best Sea infused bear. We have a bear that is infused with Best Sea, and I gotta tell you, that is a really great idea on Liv Amara's part. Have essentially a walking EMP monster, a monster that would disable most of their tech, if not all, which means they would be rather useless considering Big Hero 6, where they rely on mostly their technologies and their sciences.
Make him a mobile one too, a mobile threatening feral one.
Essentially, it's like a kryptonite monster. Essentially, it's the gist of what you have there. It's a great idea, and again, it was really threatening. Of course, if Liv Amara wants to take out Big Hero 6, that's the way you do it. And again, she's taking something just kind of improving with, and has made it into something. It made it to a legitimately credible threat.
And the fact that, and not to mention the fact that it actually won.
It did. It got away with the gold too. Yeah, it won. I love that Baymax did get to punch it though. Again, with a lie to protect Hero. That was clever. Good payoff there. But also the other action scenes I was referring to, but that was a great one though. I love the heist, the gold heist, because during the gold heist we have Sparkles, stealing the gold, knocking the container into the water, and basically they had we brought back high voltage, returned into eel monsters.
Mm-hmm.
High voltage, they were in the water. And my favorite part of the action set piece is when all the shipping containers are knocked in the water and have to get out of there, before they're buried under all the shipping containers. That was a really good little sequence there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I forgot to mention this in the other one, but a little gadgety thing I loved in episode 9 in Supersonic Sue was when Baymax has his rocket fist stolen. Hero has to 3D print another one. Of course, 3D printing, especially unless you have like really high grade materials or like a long time to really kind of work out the kinks, you 3D print something, you just kind of rush it out there. Many a time, it will not take. And I love that we had that in the episode.
Yep.
Boy, there's some 3D printing stories I can tell you.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I have some concerns.
Yes. All right.
Okay, I don't believe we have any more episode titles or anything, right? It looks like kind of like a dark period coming up.
Unless they pull something like this again, it should be week to week. Well, not for the foreseeable. When they come back, it'll probably be like a week to week.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them to do something like this again.
Well, as far as I know, they don't have any more episodes confirmed.
Let me ask you guys this, Tiki, since you brought it up. Do you think that's a bad omen?
What?
The fact that they will basically how they've been airing and how they, assuming they do it again, it seems like they're just trying to burn through the episodes. Do you think?
Well, I mean, they're doing the same thing with DuckTales, so I don't necessarily think it's a bad omen as much as I think it's just kind of like a changing. Basically, I think with all of the animated shows and frankly TV in general, I think this is kind of like a more broad spectrum conversation we're having here that applies to Barry as much as it applies to fucking Big Hero 6. So take for that what you will. But essentially, I think what studios are trying to look for is, we're looking for the streaming and the subscriptions and stuff like that. So really, I do feel like the episodes airing on TV are becoming more and more of a formality these days. It really is. Like I feel like it is kind of like becoming more about, like who's subscribed to the streaming service to watch it, who's buying them on Amazon like I am. You know, it's like I feel like that's where the money is from TV nowadays. It's like I really do feel like
So it's a big chorus situation then.
yeah. So and like I said, it applies as much to shows, you know, like Barry as it does to Big Hero 6. I feel like it's just
and considering that both this and DuckTales are renewed for a third season, it doesn't seem like they're trying to burn them off just to get rid of it. I mean, they're both. I mean, they're both having third seasons, like DuckTales and this. So, if anything, like Tiki said, but Tiki says it's probably more likely to get the whole binge factor.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right. Final thoughts, guys, on just this batch of episodes in general.
I mean, I pretty much shall repeat what I said at the opening. There are a couple of hiccups here and there, but if the series continues in this direction, I'd say it's definitely on an upswing. I mean, we definitely have an interesting villain in this Liv Amara imposter, whoever she is. I mean, again, I wouldn't say she reaches the exact levels of Obake yet, but she definitely has the potential to. And hopefully things go pretty well from here. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next, and continuing on with phase 2-iness of it all.
For me, you know, the splash of episodes, again, the Amara plot's really kicking off, and that's what really has my attention. Again, we're plotting things really well. Again, we're kind of making her she's making really smart calls, and this has me interested. Again, I'm invested in, like, oh man, I want to see her get taken down, but you have to wait till the finale. You know, it's like one of those things. But you know, overall, I mean, the only real disappointment was Lie Detector. Again, until the very end, we're like, oh my god, the Amara reveal. But beyond that, though, Lie Detector, it's weak sauce, man. Lie Detector's weak sauce, but everything else, again, it's kind of fitting. Again, it is it's an upgrade in quality. From how we started this season in a little bit, like, it wasn't offensive, but it was a little bumpy. And I think we're aligning our course a little bit. I think 10 is the only thing that gives me a little bit of pause, but you know, not every episode can be great. And anyway, season, again, they figured a lot of things out in season 1. They're trying to see what sticks to the wall, and we'll see how the next episodes go going forward, I suppose. But assuming they're a little better in Lie Detector, I think we're in good shape. So
yeah, I thought it was you know, overall a solid batch of episodes. I thought episode 7 was a little bit of a mixed bag, and as Dragon described it, episode 10 is indeed weak sauce, and I'm so glad we agree on that there. But like I said, episode 7 is probably one of my favorite episodes of the whole series so far. Like, that one really was a high point for me. And, you know, we got some great Stan Lee stuff. We got some good character development from Go-Go's End on the first episode of this batch. So, you know, overall, a little bit of a mixed bag, but we're on a good trajectory here. I don't want to say it's like as on fire as DuckTales is by any means, but it's still, you know, it's still a nice little show. And, you know, I'm excited to see where we go with it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, folks, so thank you guys so much for joining us. Jacob, you and I are going to be back at 11 p.m. tomorrow night Eastern Time to talk about our thoughts on Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
Ba 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 ba. Da, da. All right, and until then, everyone, have a good night. See you later. See you on the flip side.
Ba-la-la-la.
Fuck you, cilantro!